Hi, I'm Ashy, and today we're going to do a sketchbook tour. So we're going to look through together my sketchbook from most of 2022, from February to December. So join me as we look at kind of how I grow and approach the sketchbook. To start off with, I just put the date or the month that I started the sketchbook, and then I just added the month that I ended it. So this did take me almost a year to complete this sketchbook. The goal will be to do the next one a bit faster. And this is my second completed sketchbook. So I just put number 2. And then on the front, I again put the year, since it did take me almost the whole year, I went ahead and put this year on there. And then this one was really about kind of playing and experimenting and not being like, yes, I was learning, but it wasn't so much for like formal learning. On my previous one, it was more about learning and growing and just kind of figuring out what I was doing with it. So that's my previous one. This one, again, was more about experimenting and just kind of playing with it. So first, my first page, I usually take my sketchbook with me to work. I got bored at work one day, so I just kind of did a pen sketch on the front here. Just some random flowers. It's basically scribbles, but I kind of liked it. And then I'm covering this because it has my address. But the funny thing about when I was writing my address, I was so focused on trying to do my cursive well because my cursive sucks. I actually spelled it wrong, so I had to cross it out. So then my first one is a portrait of my husband and I at our wedding. Okay. And these are not in order because some of them I did just on one side and then I went back and filled in like the back side. So like this is an example of that. This was not done second in the sketchbook. I just went and found an empty page and did it. And so again, at work, I was kind of bored, so just sketched the people and things that I saw. It's a little funky, perspectives kind of weird, just kind of practice figures, you know, just for practice. And then a portrait of my daughter, and that's just a pencil sketch. So some of these are just pencil, some of them are watercolor. And then I'm gonna be flipping around a lot because some I did portrait style and some landscape, but this was my very first watercolor portrait ever, and so super happy with how that turned out. I have a video on this one on my channel. And there's the same baby girl, my Brooke. Her expression was just so funny in this, so I was trying to capture that mostly. And then again, here's another one where I just went back and filled in a page that I had some open space, and I was really happy with this drawing. Actually, I did this in about like maybe 6 minutes, and she walked away after probably like 2, so I was pretty proud of that. And just kind of testing out some of my pens that I got, so my Faber-Castell brush pens, and then the fine liners, the Unipen fine liners. And here's my second watercolor portrait. This was a collaboration with my daughter. She was 3 at this time, and so I let her paint on it, and then I went over it and incorporated her colors. I have a video on that one too. And then this one. This might be, I don't know, I have a hard time choosing favorites. I've said that before, but this might be one of my favorites that I've done. I love this one a lot. And these ones. So here is my daughter at gymnastics. Overall, I liked the bottom part of this, you know, with her leotard, and her arms are really good and hands. Her kind of head got a little messed up and I made it too tall, so I went back and like erased it and covered with the background. So perspectives is a little wrong. Proportions are a little wrong, but overall pretty cute, colorful. And then my 2 girls together. This one I'm probably the most happy with in terms of their faces. I think that their kind of expressions, their mouths, I think mouths are really hard, and I feel like those turned out really good, and their eyes I really like too. So I was happy with that one as well. And then Ireland reflections. And then here's just a couple of faster ones from Ireland also. So kind of a messy, impressionistic flowers there. This one I really like how the clouds turned out. Very happy with that. This horse. So I started drawing this horse actually, I think at church, and I had like just the face shape done, and I was very unhappy with it, so I just left it, and I was truly not planning on going back to it, but I finally went back to it and finished it up, and actually I was really happy with how it turned out, but it started out horrible. So again, just a pencil sketch. I didn't really feel like painting it, but I like how it turned out as the pencil sketch. And then another portrait of my husband and I on our wedding day, which you just saw the video of. If you didn't, it's my most recent video. Okay, this one, I was just playing around with the watercolor brush pens that I have. My daughter, my 4-year-old, was handing me random colors, and so I just kind of messed around. It's not beautiful, but it's okay. And actually, Alexis, my 4-year-old, really likes it, so, you know, there's something. And then these are all sketches from life, so just trying to capture poses. And so I did these during church. The singers I did while they were practicing warming up, because my husband plays in the band, so I have time that I'm kind of just sitting there sometimes. So I did those, and then pastor while he was preaching. So just practicing there. And then we have the church's ceiling. So there's a ton of beams like all going up and converging around the light. And I was just really trying to focus on that perspective. It's all speckly because the same day my daughter wanted to draw in the sketchbook also, so I let her go on this side, and then all of that graphite kind of rubbed off on this one, but just kind of playing with the perspective. And then this was at church also. They put up a announcement, like a baby announcement, and so I literally sketched this in like maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and then just went back and added some quick color to it, and I was really happy with how that turned out. Pastor again, just not beautiful, but trying to practice figure drawing. This one is, I think it's Parliament Street in Ireland in Kilkenny, I'm pretty sure, but I have a video of that one on my page also. So just trying out kind of more of an urban sketch feel, though it wasn't done from life, it was done from a photograph. And then same thing here. This is Dublin Castle in Ireland, and I think this one's really fun and cool with the perspective, how it's like coming off the page, kind of gives the vastness of it. I'll have a video of this one coming up also. And then here's some house pictures or paintings. So this is my old house. We moved now, but this is the old house. And so just capturing again, kind of playing with the perspective a little bit and color. My dog, Kiara, the lazy one. And there's a video of this one too. I did sketch this while she was actually laying there sleeping from life. So pretty happy with how the proportions and everything turned out with sketching from life. And these are at church again. On Easter, people wear hats at my church. It's just a thing, just for fun. And so I was kind of just sketching the hats and trying again, figure drawing. Not awesome. This one I just went back and filled in a hole. That's my husband. Again, just working on those figure drawings. And this one is a picture that my mother-in-law actually took in Hawaii, and I just really liked like the truck with all the graffiti and the umbrella colors and then all the greenery in the background. So I had a lot of fun with this one. This one was my first time drawing in straight in pen without doing pencil first. So I didn't have my fine liners actually when I did this one, so it's just like a fine point Sharpie. Overall, I'm pretty happy. The perspective is fairly good, given that I didn't like, you know, sketch it out and erase and everything. The painting, I feel like I was kind of rushed and not really feeling it, so I just kind of threw a bunch of colors in, but I'm pretty happy with it actually. It's impressionistic. Another Ireland painting. I have a whole folder on my computer of just pictures that I took when I was in Ireland that I want to paint, so just kind of playing with those. This one, again, this is an example of going back and filling in a page. So this one I did in September, and this was actually on vacation in Florida. So I walked down, this was like the pool house, so the pool was back here. And so I walked down there and just stood outside the pool house, basically sketched it real quick, went back to the house that we were renting, staying at, and painted it real quick. Another painting from a picture I took in Ireland. And again, just kind of working on the perspective. Perspective's hard for me, so I thought this was a fun one to practice with. These ones were things that I sketched at work while I had a student, and sometimes I get a little bit hovery over my students, so I need to take a step back and let them do their thing. And so I was sketching while he was working with the patients and trying to be a little bit more out of the box and creative and like surrealism, I guess. So just walkers, and then these are parallel bars that I turned into like a river with the waterfall. I don't know, it's weird, but I like them after I put the paint in. It's kind of funny. This is my best friend and her husband, and this was one of their engagement photos, and she had told me that this is her favorite photo that they took, and so I snagged a picture of it and decided to paint it. So I'm actually going to take this out and frame it for her and give it to her as a gift. And I don't know if you can see, but I used metallic paint in there to get that like sun reflecting off the water and even off of like the plants and some of the grasses. I used some gold metallic paint around their bodies too. All right. And then this was a picture that I found on Pinterest, sort of. So this one I actually started, I was sitting outside our old house, which I have painted back here. So I was starting to sketch it from life and just sitting out on the sidewalk. And so I started with this tree ring. And so this is that tree ring. And then my husband and daughter got home like literally a minute and a half, 2 minutes into me starting this and wanted to go to the playground. So I just left it and thinking I was going to come back to it later. I never came back to it later on the house. So I just turned that tree ring into a bank basically. And then I found this house on Pinterest that I really liked. So I made it work. So this isn't the exact like river or whatever it is that's in front of this house. It looked different on Pinterest, but I made it work with the wooden, it's not really a embankment, I guess, here, and then mirrored it here. And anyway, I'm happy with it though. I really, really like this one. I like how vivid all the colors are on this one. And so then here's the playground. So that day that I was gonna sketch the house, we went to the playground instead, and I did my first like true in the real world filming my drawing. And so I have a video of this one as well. And then this is a bar that where I work, they often go for happy hours. So I had gotten off work about 40 minutes before the happy hour was going to start. So I just decided to drive there and sit outside on a bench and draw the bar. And then, so this I did maybe 30 minutes, maybe less, 25, 30 minutes, did the drawing, and then came back and painted it later. And then once I was inside the bar at the table, I was sitting kind of angled toward the bar, so I decided to paint the bar itself, or to sketch the bar itself and then paint it later also. So did that with my coworkers there at the happy hour. This I was drawing just outside of, I teach also, so outside the university there was this house kind of across the street. So I was drawing it, trying to work on the perspective. Did never feel like going back and painting it. It really wasn't that interesting of a house. It's really just like a boring white house. These are like shrubs on a wall, which is kind of interesting, but I got bored actually doing it. This one is another picture of Ireland, and I just loved these. I think they're called thatched roofs, and so they're really fun to paint because it's all that texture in there, and then getting the like bright pops of color in the clothing. And the building itself was yellow and green, so that was fun. My writing here is super messy, but I went with it and then tried to just paint around it to preserve the white. So if I had like a white gel pen or something, I probably would have done that, but I don't even have a white gel pen, so I'll get there eventually. Gel pen or one of the, I think they're called Posco markers or Posco pens. Those look really nice, so I might get there. And then we get to the new house. So here is our new house. I did this, we had an inspector when we were buying the house, and so I was sitting outside waiting for the inspector to finish to get his report, and I just sketched it real quick and then painted it later. Then my kids on the swings, and I was kind of thinking about painting the rest of the playground in the background, but once I started, I really just liked the simplicity of them on the swings and decided to make the background look like just like a cloudy sky so that it looks like they're kind of flying on the swings. I also liked how I was able to get the movement in their clothing and their hair, and it really looks like they're moving. So that one I was happy with. And here is a sketch. I did this sketch while the kids, so this is my daughter here, and she did swim lessons with these other 3 girls, and so I did it while they were sitting there in the pool. They were taking turns like doing laps around the pool with the instructor, so I'd work on one of them until they left and then work on the next one. So, and then I painted it later. I think it turned out really cute. This is another one at church, just drawing from life and trying to get, again, kind of a posture of this figure. It's a lot easier when there's no face. All the chairs were a little bit challenging, trying to get the perspective of them, and then I think I did do just straight pen on this one too. I did not do pencil at all. So I had to start with like these back chairs so that I didn't draw the lines from those front chairs. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, so this was a little bit challenging and a fun little exercise to try. And this was, again, just playing with brush markers or brush pens, just trying to get some different flower shapes. The colors are very bright and kind of ridiculous, to be honest. And then my daughter wanted me to do a rainbow flower, so playing around with that. And then this was my daughter's work with the brush pens. So she's 4, and she was just grabbing colors and playing around with them, and then she put some metallic paint on top of it. So she had fun while I was playing around too. We were playing together. And then these are just some exercises. This was actually from like an MLFA sort of tutorial working on monochromatic and like a value study almost, just working on starting from dark and going to light values, all in the same painting. So just did that with the florals, and then I think it was either the same video or one right after it on Emma LaFave's channel that she did these like simple wet on wet watermelons. So I just did those. And then here was like literally a 5 or 6 minute landscape, just kind of throwing color down and then splattering paint, just playing with it, seeing what could happen. And then I painted my watercolor palette. And then here's one that I saw this picture on Facebook. One of my friends posted this picture on Facebook, and this was out her window. And I just loved the perspective of seeing the window frame and then like the flowers in the window box and then the sun coming through those trees. And so I was really happy with this one, like extremely happy. The white flowers I was happy with because I had to preserve that white. I don't have masking fluid, I don't have white pens or anything, so I had to preserve that white and paint around it with all the leaves. And then kind of the same with lifting up and preserving the brightness there in the middle where the sun's coming through. And yeah, anyway, just really happy with this, and really happy with kind of the color of the trunks right by the light compared to the color of the trunks farther away that are darker. So this one was really fun. Oops, backwards. This one I did in the car on a road trip that we took this, I guess it was summer, and just drawing kind of the cars around us, semi on this side. So I used like, I don't know, 14 different semis as my references for that because they kept driving past us, you know, very fast, and just kind of playing with it. And then these were on the same trip. We were at the playground, and I just decided to sketch my kids at the playground. So this one, again, no face, makes it a lot easier. So I was really happy with this drawing of my little one. She's 2, so really happy with that one. And then this drawing was of my older daughter, and not as happy, but still pretty decent overall for a super quick sketch. She doesn't stand still, so I was kind of going based on, you know, impressions and memory and real life. So. And then we have the girls going to the swimming pool, and this one I was happy with the drawing, and then also happy with the painting and how vivid all those colors came out again. And here is just a picture that I found on Pinterest that I really liked the perspective of it, and painted this while I was going through orientation at work. There was literally like 3 full days worth of online like education videos that I had to watch, and just listening to them, they weren't really interactive, so I was painting during it. And this one I was extremely happy with. This one actually I posted on Facebook, and one of my mom's friends, but my friends, asked if I can do a commission of this one. So that's going to be my first commission on a larger scale, but I'm pretty excited about that. And then here we have some more figure drawing again from life. So this is the bass player at church. I was pretty happy with this one. I feel like I caught his posture well. And then these ones were at work again. And here we have my 4-year-old on her birthday, squeezing this giant, I think they're called Squishmallows, and they're amazing, but giant unicorn one. And she was super excited about that present, and yeah, happy with that drawing and painting as well. And that's a really fun memory. And then we have another, this was just a Pinterest picture, and I really happy with it overall. I had done some of the line work before, some of it after. The flowers, like this one right here, I did that line work before doing the painting, and then after I finished, I had to, like, it really stuck out, so I had to add line work to some of the other flowers. My husband said he liked it better without the line work, but I didn't really have a choice at that point. So just kind of understanding how the different elements interact with each other is important, and that's one thing that I'm learning. Don't dislike it completely with the line work, but maybe it was a little bit better without it. Either way, it's a fun painting. And then here's some more drawings from life. So this was at the indoor playground at McDonald's. So my little one, Brookie, on the slide, and then my older one saw me draw this, and she's like, I want you to draw me on this bouncy thing. I was like, okay. So I drew her on the bouncy thing. She thought it was funny. And then this was a set or a bouquet of flowers that a patient at work had on their windowsill. I asked if I could take a picture of them and try to paint them. And then when I went back like 2 days later and had actually painted it and showed her the painting, she was so happy and so just, I don't know, joyful, I guess, that her flowers inspired me to do a painting. And then this is a building that I had driven past for like a year. And every time I drove past it, I'm like, I'm gonna draw that, I'm gonna draw that, I'm gonna draw that. And finally I drew it. And so this one I think is just a very fun example of kind of architecture drawing. And then this one I did on the beach in Florida, just a super quick seascape. Obviously not that much going on there. Decided to add the person just for fun, basically, after I did the seascape. And then this one was the same trip, and this one is my friend and her son that we went to Florida with. And so I did take a couple pictures of her, but mostly I drew this from life as well while they were moving and playing and just kind of playing with it. So that is the end of the sketchbook. All right, so now that this sketchbook is finished, and I really actually had to push to get it done in December because I really wanted to be out with the old and in with the new. So starting on January 1st, I'm going to start my new sketchbook and do some daily painting challenges and different things. This one was more about experimenting and growing, and this one is going to be more about consistency and dedication to creativity. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the sketchbook tour and join me as I continue to move forward in my sketchbook journeys. Have an awesome day.